Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby Show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby Show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby are out with the old and in with the new. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
Hey, I don't want you to have any hard feelings, all right? We had a great run, and just because I'm replacing you with a shiny new paddle, it doesn't mean I care about you any less, all right? Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 52nd podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 52, and I can't believe it. It's already October 1st. I mean, this is crazy. It seems like it was just a couple weeks ago that we were crushing Kyle Yates in our 2-versus-1 match at the Beer City Open, doesn't it?
It does. And yeah, that was a little bit ago. The weather's starting to turn for you up there in the great white north, right, Webby?
Yeah, it was starting to turn. It was 88 degrees today, but you know how Michigan is. We're in that in-between phase where Mother Nature doesn't know if it's going to be winter or fall or what's going on.
Well, this is Eddie and Webby Present the Weather. Just kidding. It's the Eddie and Webby Show, and we have a great show for you guys tonight. Guess what? We are live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch for the one person that cares. And this is meant to be interactive. So please make sure that that you guys ask questions, because we have an amazing guest that we're going to be getting to shortly. But
Yes.
Before we do that, I want to tell you guys that today's show is sponsored by us. And you might be wondering what that means. Well, there is now an Eddie and Webby store, and I'm going to pull up a little picture here. I didn't ask Simone or Chad for permission to use this picture, so guys, please don't be mad at me. But you can see Chad Edwards and Simone Jardim wearing some Eddie and Webby merch. And if you notice there, Simone's got on a hashtag Team Eddie shirt, which is super cool.
Boo. Boo.
Yes.
I mean, that's cool. It's really nice.
Yeah. That shirt you're wearing there, Webby, is that from the Eddie and Webby store?
Oh, why, yes, it is. You can get your very own Pickleball for Life t-shirt, kind of like this one.
That's right. And how you do that is by going to eddieandwebby.com/store, and you can use coupon code PICKLE10 for 10% off your purchase. So go and check it out. We're going to be creating a bunch of new designs as time goes on. So check that out.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to have a special guest tonight. I'm super excited to be able to talk to this guest. I know you guys are all anticipating talking to him. But before we get to him, Webby, what's going on in Twitter?
Ah, yes. The wonderful world of Twitter. Let me go ahead and pull it up here, see what we got going on. It's been blowing up like crazy.
Blowing up.
Here is a comment from Dr. Fahil. I sure hope Eddie and Webby took notes on how to properly do a podcast when Barrett and Jana were on the show. Great episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a little bit of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that Barrett and Jana definitely have a great podcast, and you and I just BS online for a couple
Right.
hours every couple of weeks. So yeah, I could see his point.
Yeah, well, thanks for the comment, Dr. Fahil. Here's another one from Tom Crudes. Eddie and Webby, please tell us Eddie versus Webby 5 was the last one you'll ever do. Neither of you are good at pickleball, and Webby needs to realize he'll never beat Eddie. Oh, come on.
Yikes.
It's going to happen. We're going to continue it. That was not the last one, but it probably was the last one where Eddie was victorious. So, little spoiler alert.
The 5-time champion right here. We'll see, but I do like that we're keeping this tradition going. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I love it. And a victory is coming my way very soon. Don't you worry, hashtag Team Webby. But let's do one more comment here on Twitter. Here's one from the Big Lob Bounsky. At Eddie and Webby, I am a huge fan of Paddletek and am excited about their big announcement and hearing what Curtis has to say about it. The anticipation was literally killing me.
Well, wait no more, because he might be coming on here very soon to talk about all the exciting things
He
going on.
just might be.
Yeah.
He just might be. I don't know for sure, but possibly. But yeah, that's it for the Twitter sphere today.
Very nice.
Well, before we get to our special secret guest that nobody knows who's going to be on, I think we should play a little teaser video. What do you think about that?
I think we should.
Let's roll it. Oh, man. The new era of Paddletek, October 1st, 2019. Wait a second. Isn't today October 1st, 2019?
It is today.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that is the main reason for today's episode. We have a very special guest. We're going to find out what that was all about. I feel like it's been months that it was getting teased. Today was the day of the big announcement. So let's go ahead and get to today's guest. Today's guest has been a longtime supporter of our YouTube channel, and we were lucky enough to have him back on podcast episode 22. He is the CEO of a very popular and successful pickleball paddle company that actually made a pretty huge announcement earlier today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show the CEO of Paddletek, Mr. Curtis Smith. Curtis, thank you for being brave enough to join us again on this very momentous day in Paddletek history. How's it going?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So is there anything new with you and or Paddletek since the last time you were on, or has it just been same old, same old?
Man, everything's been pretty much the same. Have you heard anything?
Not too much, but yeah, I think that's all the time we got for today. Thank you for being here. No, but yeah, seriously, this huge day, huge announcement, and yeah, I can't wait to get into it and discuss what we've all learned today, what it means, and yeah, actually, before we get into it too much, I do want to play a quick video clip because there's been like so much speculation. Before we get into the details from you yourself, I just want to talk about like the speculation that's been going on and predictions all across social media and the pickleball world. And I can't think of a better way to do that than by showing a clip from the No Smoke Pickleball show. This was from a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like this is a good representation of pretty much what the pickleball world was thinking leading up to today. So, Eddie, I say roll it.
So our first smoke or no smoke is the big Paddletek announcement that is happening.
They have been touting this for about 5 months now that there's a new era coming. So do you think this is going to be smoke like fire, or is this going to be blowing smoke, up our...
Yeah, this has been quite the hype.
It better be like new paddle technology.
We're not sure what to think because really what are the options? We were hypothesizing a merger possibly, an acquisition of another company.
Are they going to do more with prints? Is it gonna be? Is it gonna do like Engage where they open their whole academy? Like I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully it's cool.
We hope it's maybe they're doing a tournament series. Maybe they're doing.
Thomas thinks it's this fake news.
Fake news. They need a facelift. They need a new rebranding maybe.
Rob Noonan says they do it for the cash for the Benjamins.
That money. We'll see.
So that was our good friends, Lauren and Kyle from the No Smoke Pickleball show. So Curtis, did you get a kick out of all the speculation and the hype that was going into this the last few months?
Did I get a kick out of it? Yes. It was kind of new for us because we really don't hype anything. And then we do something and we definitely got our point across through social media. lot of Young and Larimore, who's our new ad agency, who put all that together. And hopefully people won't be too disappointed and we're doing it. But about it here, we're very excited.
Nice. And for those that don't already know, what exactly is the big news that was announced today?
Oh, for me. Oh, my goodness. New Era of Paddletek. So she was correct in one aspect of it, is that it is a rebranding effort. It's a complete change in our identity, how we go to market. Everything is changing, even from our research and development processes. And so if you were to, what is the new era of Paddletek? One, and probably the most shocking, is we changed our logo. We discontinued 9 models, and we added 4. The new models are on our website. There's no, in 2012, we changed the sport with, with our technology. Nothing that groundbreaking, at least not yet. I joke that alien technology is coming as soon as we can teach them how to keep score. But the so we do have, the new era of Paddletek isn't just a singularity. It's not just one event. It's a process that begins with a rebranding of Paddletek. And I can get into more detail about that. If you want your listeners to drop, I can get into a lot of detail about that. But, and then simplifying our line to make it easier for consumers to find the right Paddletek for them. We really pride ourselves in making paddles for people who are looking to do something better on the court. I wish I had help with this aspect of my game, and we make a paddle for that. And it became rather confusing to try to maneuver through all that technology and the different aspects of paddles. So we decided to simplify it and divide the line into 3 series: the Bantam, Tempest, and the Phoenix. And that's just where we start. There is lots of new stuff coming. It's just not coming on October 1st.
All right. So, and I was just going to point out something I noticed on the Paddletek Facebook page. It states new look, new colors, new confidence, and we're just getting started. So that was actually going to be my next question. Does that mean there are a lot of big things coming in the future for Paddletek as well?
Yes, things never before seen in pickleball before, that I can tell you.
Okay. All right. So basically today was kind of like phase 1, I guess, of a bigger picture, if you will. Is that correct to say?
Yes, it is. We talked about it. Noah Kaplan, our VP of Sales and Marketing, I said, look, let's launch new stuff when we do this. And when we thought about it, we thought that it might get lost, trying to do too much at one time. We do have 4 new paddles on the website right now, and you'll get more information on those as the days progress. Some new technology that we added into the new models, and I can talk about those, but I'll wait for you to ask me. But the big first step was a rebranding, and it's this. The pickleball market is getting rather crowded, if you haven't noticed. There's a lot of manufacturers and a lot of touting this technology and that technology, and we felt that it was time for us to rebrand in a way that allowed us to communicate to the consumer who we were. Our original logo, I loved our original logo. It was a celebration of pickleball. It was, the 4 Ps, that's 4 players coming together. That's what the sport does. It's one of the things we love about it. And so we really felt it was a celebration of the sport of pickleball. But now that there's so many players in this market, that didn't really help consumers understand who we were. And so we did a lot of market research on this new look. And we went with the one where the focus groups came back, and when they described Paddletek, They described exactly who we were, who we felt we were. And so we felt it was a good start to bigger and better things from Paddletek. And it's just not rebranding, and it's everything from our marketing to our distribution, our point of purchase, our packaging, customer interaction, our new website. I love our new website. You can customize your own paddle right on the website. And so there was a lot going on for this first phase one, I should say. Phase two, look for that around nationals.
Nice. And something you just mentioned, the customization. I checked out the updated Paddletek website earlier today, and that was a feature I absolutely love. I love the fact that you can choose a paddle, and then you can pick different color combinations that you want. You can choose what color you want the logo to be on the other side of the paddle. I absolutely love that option. Now, is that available on all the paddles, or is there just certain ones that you can do that on, or what? Can you give us more information about that?
It is not available on the Tempest series. So the Tempest Wave and the Tempest Wave Pro, it is not available yet. It's just the part of the process in producing those paddles. I'm not saying we'll never get there, but just right now.
Gotcha. All right. And there's rumor on the street. You can tell me if this is true or not. I heard from a source of mine that there are 4 new paddles on the website. Or wait a second. Actually, I think I heard you say that a couple minutes ago. So is that true? There's 4 new paddles?
Somebody bearing a striking resemblance to myself just said that. Yes. So we do. So first, the Tempest Wave has been upgraded. It now has a more durable core. It still plays with the same characteristics as a Tempest Wave. If there is a difference, it might have just a smidge more power, but it's very controllable. And so one of our best-selling paddles, yes, we just upgraded it, and that's the Tempest Wave 2. The second one would be the G6, the Phoenix G6, which is a great paddle. It's graphite. It's also a very quiet paddle, and that is our paddle to help people who don't want to spend $100, $150 on their first paddle. Allows them to get into a very good, very forgiving graphite paddle for $69 or $69.99, $70. Then we also have the Phoenix Genesis, which is uses our some of our base technology. It's a very, very, very good paddle. It's very similar to what the Element would have been, with a few upgrades. And then we have the Genesis Pro, which uses our Pro Core and our Smart Response technology to really add the forgiveness and controllability in the paddle. So those are the folks. So the Genesis, the Genesis Pro, the G6, and the new Tempest Wave. All of those with torsional control and just a little bit of vibration dampening. If you let me know if I'm getting too much into the details on that, but it took us a long time to find vibration dampening technology. Vibration is one of those love it or hate it things. So when you reduce too much vibration out of the paddle, you lose that tactile feeling of the ball hitting the paddle. And that's important in pickleball. So fine tuning it so that we are taking some of the vibration out, but still allowing you to have that tactile feeling of the ball on the paddle. And that is in all of the paddles except for the G6.
All right.
All of the new paddles,
Nice.
I should say.
Very nice. We have a lot more to get into, but before we get into it, Eddie, I am very thirsty right now. I cannot continue until I get something to drink.
Yes.
So I think it's time to crack open a nice cold beverage. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great plan. What are you going to be enjoying this evening?
Well, I'm pretty excited. Today is October 1st, as we
Mhm.
mentioned earlier. So I can't think of a better beer to drink on October 1st than a bell from Bell's Brewing, known as Oktoberfest.
Oh, very nice. That's a good one.
So
I've
I'll be
had that
drinking.
before.
Yeah, I'll be drinking Oktoberfest on October 1st.
I like it. And Curtis, are you going to be enjoying a beverage with us this evening?
I am. Well, I heard that you were into the hard seltzers, and so I went to pick up one. I picked up this Crook and Marker because the package said it had very sleek cans. Like, ooh, I want cans in my beverage. I wish I would have. This is, if you like sweet, this would be good for you. Tastes diet soda. Only has 80 calories, no sugar, no millet, gluten-free, and organic. If they dial down the sweetness, this would be pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, so I drank that one before on the show, and it almost tasted like a fake sweetness. You nailed it, like a diet soda, and that's one of the reasons I didn't like it as well. I liked all the other stuff, the no sugar, the 80 calories, the organic. That was all good. It just kind of wasn't my thing either. So it sounds like you and I are on the same page with our review of it. And that's exactly why I am sticking with my Henrys again, partially because I totally forgot to go out and get anything new to drink for tonight. But you can't go wrong with these. I mean, they're just 88 calories, 4.2%, none of that artificial flavoring going on with it. Just a very nice beverage to wet the palate with.
Nice. So Eddie, I think what the whole world is wondering is, are you ever going to go back to drinking craft beer again, or is it just seltzers for the rest of your life now?
No, I definitely will be drinking craft beer again. I've just taken a little break and have appreciated some of the hard seltzers. But I had some beers over the weekend, so it's not totally going away.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about the beer. I wet my palate, so I'm doing real good now.
Okay. In fact, if you want to, I have a couple social media comments I want to be able to throw up here real quick. We have
perfect. I would love that.
Here. Yeah. From our buddy John Jermstad. He said, "Go green, Curtis Smith. Love the Sparty shirt. Also, congrats on the rollout."
Go white.
Yeah. In fact, it's funny. I have my Michigan State glass here with my non-alcohol. Well, check that out. Yeah.
I've got my coffee cup.
We're a little Sparty group here.
We're not the only sports brand in Michigan.
That's right. And then I have a question here from Jeff Neely, and Jeff asks, what player would you put a Tempest Pro in the hands of instead of a Tempest?
Oh, goodness. Wow, that was a good one. Nice question, Jeff. So the Tempest Pro will have a little bit more power, but the power activates later in the game. So depending on the energy. So if you're looking for a little more drive on the ball, then I would say the Tempest Pro. Or if you're looking for a paddle with a little better touch when you're dinking. So the Tempest Pro pretty much takes the Tempest and what we love about it and makes each of those aspects just a little bit better. We did add a little power to it. And that was Dave Weinbach was saying, hey, can you make me a Tempest? You know, I still want the touch, still want the accuracy, a little bit more power. And so we added touch, we added accuracy, and we added power.
Nice. So Eddie, we had a couple comments on Facebook that we wanted to bring up regarding today's rollout of your big news with Paddletek. So let's go to one from Joshua Cook. He says, okay, well, Paddletek may be the coolest new brand, well executed and thoughtful. I just wish I was involved because the new look is freaking awesome. My hat's off to the design firm. I want to work for them. So that's a great compliment right there regarding the new look for Paddletek.
Yes, from Joshua Cook. You still have that old Tempest Pro? Ooh, I just said
I do.
Tempest Pro.
Yep, right here.
I love that. I love that design. I think it's one of our top graphics we've ever had on a paddle. And you can thank Joshua Cook because he's the one that designed that for us.
Oh, nice.
And so when Joshua Cook says he likes the new look, he comes from a place of experience and know-how. And we would have loved to have Joshua work on this. We went through an ad agency in Indianapolis called Young and Larimore. They're very professional, very creative. They don't make any decision without data to back it up, which I loved. And if we could have had him work with them, we would have. It was a package deal with them, and we're happy with our new looks. We're very excited about the new look on the paddles. We did some testing, of course. And my biggest concern was the Tempest Pro. And through our testing, it was a 6-1. People like the new look over the old. And so, yeah, we're excited.
I actually have the new one right here. Yep, here it is. And yeah, I got to tell you, I love the new logo. I think it was a great move it's just so sleek and nice and modern looking. I love it. But I also agree, like the previous Tempest Pro, the wave look, I agree that up to this point, this was definitely my favorite looking paddle. I started using this earlier this summer, and I fell in love pretty much immediately. The Tempest Pro has been my go-to paddle for the past few months, and I'm looking forward to using the new one. I'll actually be busting this out for the first time in public tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to showing this off. I'll be the talk of the town in my community, I think, wielding this around. So looking forward to showing that off. Yeah, I love the Tempest Pro. I love the new look, and I definitely like Joshua Cook's work. I've seen a lot of his work online on social media and the things that he's designed. So definitely a talented guy. I do want to go to another comment. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say we almost didn't launch the Tempest Pro. Can I tell that
really?
story?
Yeah, definitely.
We were we were in the design phase, and I had the very first one, and I had played with it. And at the time I was an EXL Pro person, and the Tempest Pro is a different paddle. But I was playing with my wife. We were playing singles, and she's just learning pickleball a little bit. But back then she wasn't as good as she is now. But we would play singles, and she might score. If she scored 5 or 6 on me, it was a really good game for her. First time playing with that paddle, I had to score 15 to beat her. So I was joking, like, we're not launching this because you're going to beat me one day if you play with that paddle. It improved her game amazing. Like night and day. She just came in from playing pickleball with her new Wave Pro.
Nice. Yeah, I love that paddle. I'm glad you ended up releasing it. So that's good news because I absolutely love it. I do want to go over another comment that I saw on the Pickleball forum earlier relating to today's big news from Paddletek. And that said, it's from Scott Hedrick. It's October 1st, which means I can access the Paddletek website again. I admit there was a bit of anticipation about the potential new pickleball paddle revelation I was expecting when October 1st hit, but all I'm seeing are new logo and look designs. Is that it? Am I missing something? So what do you have to say about comments like that are out there?
That's not it. I mean, nobody cares really that we discontinued 9 models unless you're, in love with one of those models. And based on the sales, I mean, there were models that we just never got around to formally discontinuing. They just sort of disappeared. The big ones would have been, the Phoenix Pro, which was the first polymer paddle. We discontinued it. And it was still a great paddle, and there's still people out that love it. But it was, 0.5 to 8.8 ounces. And if somebody wants to play with a paddle that heavy, we have other paddles that are that heavy and give that performance. No, but there are 4 new paddles on the line on our website right now that are new. An upgrade to the Tempest Wave 2, which you might say, well, that's just an upgrade to an existing model. We still have the Genesis, the Genesis Pro, and the G6, which are new. And as I said, they're not made with alien technology yet. And then we have bigger things coming, new technology that would require us to communicate a lot. I don't know that we'll tease it for 5 months like we did with all of this, but it is coming.
All right, nice. So what, when was it that you decided that it was time to do something like this, to make such a big, drastic change to the logo and everything with Paddletek?
Well, I had thought about it. Back in 2011, we were having discussions whether or not we even needed a logo. We just be Paddletek. We're making paddles in a garage in Arizona, so what do we need a logo for? And my sister-in-law at the time, while we were having the discussion, drew up our original logo, and we loved what it represented. But then every time we tried to use it, it served us very well, but there were certain instances where we just felt it didn't really communicate who we were. And so the idea was always in our head. Then we went to Young and Larimore, and they'd asked me, what are your sacred cows? What can't we do? What about your logo? And I just told them that it's like kids. I feel kids are more creative when they're younger because they haven't been told what they can't do. So I told them, I said, I don't want to tell you what you can't do, but you definitely need to back it up with some data. And so they took a shot at changing our logo. We did some market research. And I think I already mentioned this. It was amazing that we would put it in front of people, and then what they would describe, what they felt about the new logo and the new look was exactly who we feel we are. It's pretty hard to find a paddle on the market today that we hadn't already made. There's a few out there, and they're good paddles, and they're all good paddles. But those comments from those people it was like they were describing us. And so we said it's time to do it. If all this change is coming, we might as well start with the rebranding effort. It's not just rebranding. Everything has changed from just even the hangers that we put our paddles on in stores. When a consumer receives their paddle in the mail, how that's received, what's in the box. It's really exciting. And there's a few people say, I loved your old logo. I'm like, well, yeah, I loved it too. So it was, but no, this is, we're really excited.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta tell you, like, yeah, go ahead. I just express your excitement. It's great. But yeah, I loved the old logo too, but I agree. It was like, the new logo is just so much cooler. Like I don't know. I just like I'm excited to get a new Paddletek shirt and wear it, and a Paddletek hat or something like that. It definitely has a slick and really nice look to it that I dig. How difficult was it to like go ahead with it and say, like, you know what, let's do it. Let's drop the old logo that everybody has come to know and love. Like, was that a difficult choice, or as soon as you saw the logo, were you like, yep, that's it, let's do it?
Well, they actually present us with 4, and the changing the logo wasn't just a, hey, do you like this logo? It was really a very comprehensive discussion about who we were as a company and how we wanted to portray that to consumers. And so each logo had if you go with this logo, this would be how you would present yourself for at least next 5 to 7 years. And this particular logo, can't even remember the name. They gave it a name. But it was basically you guys are this is the innovator logo. That's who we are. And so then we sent a few, we did our focus groups, and then we asked the people who were part of Paddletek, part of the team that had a vested interest in what we were doing, because they represent us, and we're talking, Kyle Yates, Scott Moore, the Water, Stephanie Lane, Dave Weinbach. I mean, we said, hey, what do you think of this? Not a single, it was like 2 thumbs up all the way around. My nice. Favorite, I'm sorry if I embarrass him out there, was having dinner with Kyle Yates, and he just looked next to me and says, the new look is sick. Like, well, there you go. So nice. That's all we needed. So then we said, yeah, let's go with it. There's a few tweaks here and there, but they did an amazing job. I'm very, very excited. I said that. Awesome. I'm not going to say that again.
And for anybody that's over the age of 40, when Kyle Yates says the new logo is sick, that's a good thing. That's a compliment. That's a really good compliment. So what, how did you feel, like last night around midnight or before the trigger got pulled and the new website got released and the whole announcement went out there? Were you nervous? Were you having any doubts? Were you excited? Like how did you feel the moments leading up to the big announcement today?
Well, I slept like a baby. Evidently, Noah Kaplan did not. Evidently, our website was supposed to go up at midnight, didn't go up till this morning. A few glitches with the servers and stuff like that. So I wasn't awake for that. I really only had one concern, and my concern was since being in this industry since 2011. Was usually when you're announcing something in this sport, people are looking for, paddles that play themselves, or as I used to say, alien technology. And I was a little concerned, like, is this what they're expecting? And instead, what we're doing is we're offering them, we're not focused on one new launch. We're not saying, hey, look, here's the Genesis Pro, and this is the best paddle ever. And we're just sort of not emphasizing the new paddles and emphasizing who we are and how we're going to approach the marketplace going forward. That was my concern. And so far, given the feedback on social media, there seems to be a lot of excitement. My phone blew up today with people saying, wow, this is great. And so, if you're looking for new paddles, they're on the website. And I almost wanted to say paddletek.com, but that's pretty obvious. And check them out. I wasn't going to say excited. I'm happy about the whole thing. I love the fact that you can go on there and you can have your name put on the paddle during the manufacturing process. You can choose your color coordination. I love that. To add your own little personal touch to your paddle. You don't have to worry about it getting lost or stolen. Nobody steals paddles.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. I love that feature. I love the fact that I mentioned earlier how you can customize the colors, but I didn't mention the name thing that you said. So that's another feature that's on the website when you customize is you can have your name printed on the paddle. I love that because currently right now, like with my old paddle here, the older Tempest Pro, I've got we got Webby grease penciled here on there, but I love the fact that you can actually get it on the paddle itself. That's a great idea, a great touch. Very cool. Love it. And one thing I wonder, like I feel like the change that you guys are making, like it takes a lot of courage. It's not easy to make a huge change like this. What do you have to say to people out there that are like afraid of embracing change and would rather just stay complacent and keep things how they are forever? Do you have any like words of advice or opinions about people that are like, man, you just keep it how it was. Everybody liked it how it was.
Well, ask us that and we're happy about it. Ask Coca-Cola back in the 80s. They'd give you a different answer. I wish we would have done it 5 years, 6 years ago when we thought about it, when we just kind of had a feeling that we were, maybe we could start from scratch as far as with our branding efforts and how we position paddles in our line. And I think that is one of the things that I really, really, really needed to be done a long time ago, which was, people were seemed rather confused. I want a Paddletek, but which one do I buy? And really doing a very good job of communicating the play ability of each particular model. If you get me on the phone, I'd keep you on the phone for 40 minutes until you don't want to hear anything anymore, and say, okay, just send me anything, just shut up about it. But but communicating that in a simpler way, and it was really difficult for us because where we would. Other paddles would come on the market and they pretty much, might be the same technology, but they might adapt the shape very innovatively, get a characteristic, or adjust the weight, adjust the balance, and all that sort of stuff. We would just design a new core. We want a paddle to do this. All right, let's make a new core. Let's design the core. Which meant that, before yesterday, we were using 7 different renditions of a pickleball paddle core. How do you describe that to a consumer in a way that they can understand in a minute or less? Well, you really couldn't. And so by simplifying the line into the Bantam series, the Tempest series, and the Phoenix series, allowed us to keep our line rather complex, but make it easier for the consumer to understand what they're buying. Oh, to answer your question, I would, do it sooner than later. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes.
All right.
More work.
All right. Eddie, what's going on the social media?
It's funny, Curtis, you're talking about how you almost didn't release the Tempest Pro. And as you know, that is my paddle of choice. I got this one with the patron package at the US Open, and I played with it at the Open, and I love this paddle. It's incredible. Webby plays with it. And apparently so do all of our Facebook viewers, because they're asking a bunch of questions about it. So we're going to have a few questions specifically about the Tempest Pro here, if you don't mind. The first one is, and I know you kind of touched on it a little bit there originally, but this one is from Scott Rubinoff. And Scott asks, is the old Tempest Pro the same as the new Pro with new graphics? And I think he meant, is the new Tempest Pro the same as the old Pro with new graphics?
Yes, we did change the name though. We had the Tempest Wave, and then we had the Tempest Pro. And so what we did is we just called the Tempest Pro the Tempest Wave Pro, because it's the same shape as the Wave, and so that was a change. So no, it's exactly the same. Nothing has changed. There's right off the same line, just different graphics. That's nothing. And in fact, the Bantam EXL, the Bantam EXL Pro, the TS5, the TS5 Pro, those haven't changed either. The Bantam EXL has been around since 2013, might have been 2012. And it's still relevant, very relevant in the professional side of the sport. So yeah, changing that would have been stupid. So no, we've we kept those. Of the paddles that are not new, the Tempest Wave 2 is a new paddle. It's really just an upgrade of the Tempest Wave. The core, as I said before, will last longer. It's a much better quality core than what it was before. So those remain the same. Like I said, the 4 new ones are and the Saber Pro. We did move the Saber into the Bantam line. It is made with a Bantam Pro core, so we decided to just include that with the Bantam line, and that's Scott Moore's singles paddle. It's a beast. I can't play with it. It's just it's a beast. It's not for the faint of heart. If you can wield that thing, you definitely have an advantage on the court.
Okay. Good to know. We got another question here. This one is from Ed Dine, and he says, can you talk about the balance of the Tempest Pro? Feels lighter than it really is. I like the balance. Is that part of the design of that paddle? Is that one of the big selling points in your opinion?
Balance is important to us across the board. If you can make our own handles out of balsa, A few other companies still do, I think. And the reason we use that is so that we can control the balance of the paddle. We receive huge sheets of each one is weighed. After it's being weighed, it gets cut to strips, shaped, cut to length, and then to the end. And they'll do this, 20, 30,000 times a month. And at each point of the process, we're weighing the balsa. So then we know what paddle. So when I call them elves, when our elves go to make the paddle, they'll weigh it and they know what that core weighs, and then they know how to balance it. And even the edging, everything is weighed so we can get the balance right. And so if he likes the balance of the Tempest series, the Tempest series was originally meant to be, and I guess it still is, this sort of like Goldilocks. Everything's just right. It's not head heavy, it's not handle heavy, it's not too powerful, it's not dead, it's got a lot of blocking, it's got a huge sweet spot. And it is, it's our most expensive paddle, and like our second in sales, like one of our top sellers. It's crazy. Very proud of it, by the way, despite the fact that we didn't launch it. We almost didn't launch it so my wife wouldn't have anything to play with to beat me.
Right. I love it. All right, we got one more question here regarding the Tempest Pro, and I think this question comes purely out of the love for the Tempest Pro. But Scott Rubinoff also says, why can't you customize the Tempest Pro?
Great question there.
You want the corporate answer or the real answer?
Both. Why not both?
Yeah, let's get both.
And make it somehow make it like we're somehow geniuses. The real reason is this: we have two printing processes where we're printing directly to the core with a UV printer. The printer that we would need to use for the Tempest is getting worked on tomorrow. One of the issues was that to put the name on the paddle, you have to put white ink underneath it. Well, the white ink wasn't necessarily coming in sharp enough for us. And so it really wasn't ready in time for launch. And so after we get that process figured out, then we'll add that on there as a customization feature. It's just not right now. For me to do it right now, I'd have to contract another company, and I don't control that process. And the last thing I want is a consumer waiting forever for their paddle because I'm waiting for somebody else to do something for me. I want to be in control. We want to be in control of what's happening so that we can deliver to the consumer in a timely manner. So that's the real answer.
Good enough.
It was boring. I'm sorry.
No, it makes sense. That's that was the end of the wave of Tempest Pro questions. So back to you there, Webby.
Yeah, and to continue with the discussion about the Tempest Wave Pro, I was previously a Bantam EXL Pro paddle user, and I still love that paddle. I used to think that I preferred a heavier paddle, but I'm telling you, that first time that I used the Tempest Pro, man, like it just, something about it just felt right. Like I've never jived with a paddle so quickly. Like I need like a few weeks to kind of get used to it before I can really decide if I like it or not. But I'm telling you, the first time I started using the Tempest Wave Pro, it just felt right, and I haven't gone to anything else since then. Definitely love it. And I know you touched on this a bit the last time you were on the show, but can you tell us a little bit about like what is the main difference between the standard models and the pro models of your paddles? Like why, like other than the price difference? Because I know like people on Facebook love to say, oh, all it is they slapped the word pro on there and charged an extra $30 or whatever. So like what's the real deal on the difference between standard and pro?
We don't do that. So we actually had what we call the pro model concept, the design. We even made a few of them, back in our startup. But back then we were concerned about weight. I mean, mind you, it's me and my brother making paddles in a garage. There's no silk screening machine. We don't even have a printer. We're having to contract out print, just the vinyl to put on the paddles. And polymer paddles then were heavy. The Phoenix Pro, it was, 7.5 to 7.8 ounces. Well, not a whole lot of people want to play in that weight range. And so we did some experimenting with some shapes to get the weight down. And then finally, when we got, and it just took us a month to get a 4-week silk screen, then our paddles got lighter. All that being said, the thicker paddle was just even heavier than what and we weren't big enough to say, hey, let's go design our own edging, so that we have varying weights of edging, so we can manipulate the balance of the paddle. And so what the Pro means, is it different? It is different. I usually use a graphic. So Kyle still uses the EXL instead of the EXL Pro. So why is that? Well, the EXL Pro has a little more power, and it's more forgiving, which is better accuracy. Well, Kyle Yates doesn't really need that. Kyle Yates, if you look at where he hits the ball, it's like this big. That's where he's hitting the paddle every time. He's hitting the sweet spot every time. So he doesn't really need forgiveness, right? It's one of the best in the world. He just doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But not like everyone else. And so when we added the forgiveness and added power, what we also did is we made it so that if you are hitting the ball on the entire paddle like me, you're going to get a consistent performance. The thing about, you let me know if I'm going into the weeds. Just hold up your hand or something right here when it comes to technology. The problem with sweet spots is not just a bigger sweet spot, because a bigger sweet spot, most people would say, yeah, a bigger sweet spot's great. That's not necessarily the case, because when you get your sweet spot to be so big, you end up with two sweet spots. You end up with something that plays like what you want it to play, and then you get a hot spot right in the center. And if you're like me and you're all over the place on there, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get that hot spot, or you're going to get what you thought you were going to get. And so what our Pro Series does is allows us to put a larger sweet spot on the paddle and have it be more consistent, so that you know more what to expect from the paddle when you swing it. And that's, I think, a lot of what gets lost in when people talk about, when I say forgiveness. That's what I'm saying, is that the paddle's going to do what you wanted it to do just about every hit. And that technology is expensive.
All right. And yeah, and I can, and just so you know, I didn't feel that way when I was talking about how, oh, what's the difference between that? Is it just extra money and you put the word Pro on there? I didn't feel that way, because I know from experience that the Pro, for me personally, was definitely a better choice, because if you can see the Eddie and Webby paddle back there, that's the Bantam EXL, and that's what I was using for a while. But then I went and got the EXL Pro, and man, it just felt better. I felt like I had more control. It was like night and day for me anyways. I don't know, maybe not so much for other people, but for me, definitely it was night and day. And I could tell a big difference between the regular model and the Pro. I mean, that one's still great, but I would definitely go with the Pro any day, between the Bantam EXL Standard and Pro. But thank you for explaining.
If I can explain, the pricing thing, we don't usually disclose this information, but the Tempest Pro is our most expensive paddle, that retail wise. It's also one of our lowest margin paddles. That paddle should be about a $200 paddle.
Oh, wow.
If we were to charge, we really just, we're not ready to put a paddle out there for $200. And so it's not a gimmick. And I say that with all sincerity. That is not a gimmick. It is one of our lowest margin paddles that we sell. I think it's number 2. The G6 will be our lowest margin, and then the Tempest Pro.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's actually something I want to bring up. There's been a picture floating around, and it's of you rocking a T-shirt with the new logo, and I love the way it looks. So Eddie, if you have the picture of Curtis wearing the T-shirt, now would be a great time to show that. And there it is. Oh, wait a second, that's not the new Paddletek logo. Whoops! How did that picture get out there? Let's. Sorry about that. Sorry for the mix-up. That It's a nice looking T-shirt, but that is not the T-shirt I was thinking of. So we'll go ahead and move on. So what are the biggest changes that you've seen in the sport of pickleball since Paddletek first went into business?
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have left? The biggest change, gosh, it's like asking you what your favorite song is. Give me a genre, your favorite movie.
Right.
You have to have a genre. Well, the biggest change is, I think, is where consumers, one of the biggest changes, I don't want to say one's biggest in that, is where consumers are purchasing their paddles. And not only that, it's the people who are purchasing the paddles. Back in the day, if you didn't know somebody selling out of your trunk or the website to a specific manufacturer, where could you get a paddle? And this, this is before the days of Pickleball Central. But now, I mean, goodness, you can get, pickleball paddles just about anywhere. And the change is who's purchasing it. It's no longer these people still purchase paddles, but we're seeing a lot more people in like mass merchandising situations. Let's go grab some pickleball paddles and go play the game. And we love that. We love the they have access. I think somebody was saying there was a convenience store selling pickleball paddles. We thought that was amazing because, get them into the sport. Once they get into the sport and they get addicted to it and they want to get better, then they'll come our way. It went from hardly having any place to purchase a paddle to then the internet to then Amazon and now big box and now late. I don't want to say late to the party, but is our tennis pro shops. A lot more tennis pro shops are now starting to say, well, okay, I guess we need to support pickleball because there's such a demand for it, and that is the newest market of people calling us to say, hey, we want to sell pickleball paddles to our club members. The pickleball communities or tennis communities actually putting in dedicated pickleball courts, which is nice.
All right. And then kind of a similar question. So I believe you guys started in 2012. Is that right? Is that when Paddletek kind of came into the picture?
It was founded in 2010.
Okay.
My brother had it for about a year and a half before he finally talked me into getting involved. So officially it was 2010. 2012, though, is when we really made some noise. And that's when people were discovering the polymer paddle. And that was when we just exploded.
So has there been a huge change in the actual pickleball paddle technology since you guys first started making paddles, or has that kind of been pretty much the same? Or
it depends on who you ask. If you ask us, the answer is yes. Our original core is still very, very prominent within the sport. I'm going to say, having no data to back it up, just what I've seen, it's probably still the most used core in pickleball. And right now, we are only producing one paddle with that same core. Everything else is new. So for us, yes, there has been a lot of changes of things on the inside of the paddle that people don't really see. But within the sport in general, it's still 98, 95% polymer. Unless we're not talking about the wood paddles. We're talking about, anyone who's serious and goes and buys a nice paddle. Not that wood paddles aren't nice, but, they serve a different purpose.
Right.
It's still the most prominent. Polymer is still, it's going to be here for a while. I just think that what we do with it will change. And we won't say any more about that.
All right. So Eddie, what's going on? What's going on your side?
Yeah, so I have two questions. A fun one and kind of a serious one here. Got another question from John Jermstad, and he says, is there a new Paddletek jingle? Grab that guitar, let's hear it.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
There is a new Paddletech jingle, and if ever you get to interview Noah Kaplan, he'll be sure to sing it for you.
Gotta remember to get Noah on the show then
Right.
to hear that. So, and then I do have one other kind of serious question, and you touched on it a little bit, but I want to make sure that the audience kind of knows. You hinted towards other items that are coming in the future that you thought it would be good to not necessarily have as part of this initial announcement of the new era of Paddletek. And Gary Allen asks, when can we expect the other items?
Oh goodness, this is stuff we really like to keep close to the vest. We have 2 launch dates for different items. Coming later this year, potentially, at least available for people to demo and to try. The more exciting stuff won't be around. I think I don't really want to tell people when we plan to do this, because then they plan their stuff at the same time. In Q1, how about that? In Q1 next year is when we do that. The other stuff is much slower design process. About our design process, we take the Phoenix line now, and that's where we start, and everything else goes from there. So if we want more power, if we want more touch, we start with that as being center point. And so what we're looking to do, can I say, I don't want to give any hints out to the wrong people what we're doing.
No, nobody's watching, nobody's listening. Go ahead. You can just spill the beans. You can just tell us everything.
I'll for people. It will be, I can guarantee you it's not smoke, and it's not mirrors, and it's not it's not going to be made with alien technology or anything like that, but it will definitely make a statement. We're not looking for, hey, what are we going to sell next year? Let's come up with a new shape, and let's come up with a different core and hype that up. We're really looking at what would paddles look like in 10 years, and that's where we're starting to discuss now, which is when we're what is this going to be in 10 years? What different technologies there are, and there's a lot of really cool technology out there that people show up and say, I have this over here, can you use it? Like, I don't know, let's try it out. But it's as the sport progresses, there'll be new technology that won't just be the same rendition of what we're making now, if I can say that.
All right. Okay. So being a CEO, I'm sure you're a very busy man, and especially with all the big changes that are happening with Paddletek. So do you have much time to actually play pickleball these days, or is that kind of been cut short with all the sleepless nights going into this big change that's been happening?
Well, I skipped the ladder league for you guys.
Oh, wow. Sorry about that.
Well, I scheduled it. Do I get to play? The funny thing about me is after working, all day, pickleball. When I got home, usually the last thing I want to do is then go out on the court and talk more pickleball with people. I sort of like to, be incognito. But got married about 3 years ago, and my wife loves it. And so what she was able to provide me was that other dynamic of pickleball, which is having fun with your family and the interactiveness. And so I enjoy it much more now because I'm there with my family and with the kids, the wife. And so, yes, I am playing a lot more. She and I played in our first tournament and we're still married. But
Oh, nice.
the other day, so yeah, I am playing a lot more pickleball.
Very cool.
2-3 times a week is about when I play.
So I want to get kind of personal here for a little bit. When you were on the show last time, it was right before we started doing live podcasts. And I don't know if you remember, but we did have a few technical difficulties. Your audio was kind of cutting out a bit. We had to make sure you ended up getting headphones on and stuff because the audio was cutting out. And for anybody that's never tried connecting remotely with somebody to do an interview, it can be a little hectic. You never know what's going to happen. You got to rely on good internet signal and stuff. So what did we do after your episode? Just a few episodes later, we decided to take what was already a pretty hectic situation, and we decided to make it 100 times more hectic and start doing them live. So what is how has your experience been today connecting with us live versus recorded like we did in the past? Do you notice any difference or anything?
Are you talking? Yeah. Are you talking? I don't hear anything. Is the audio still on? Yes.
Technical difficulties. Oh man.
I honestly, I don't notice a difference. I think in the first one, I would say something, say no, cut that, don't say that, or say off the record. Here's the inside scoop to this, but don't say that publicly. And now I know better not to do that. No, seems the same.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I'm not. But
yeah, but to be honest, like it is a lot more hectic doing it live. But to be honest, like I would not even think about going back to the way we used to do it. It's just so much. It's so much more fun. You never know what's going to happen. It adds to the excitement. And when the technical difficulties do happen, like I feel like that's I don't know, it just adds to the excitement. And then how different shows handle the technical difficulties. I don't know. I love it. I know the No Smoke Pickleball show, they had some technical difficulties during episode 2, but they handled it awesome. They recovered nicely. And I don't know. It's just a fun thing. I love doing it live. You never know what's going to happen. But one more thing before we wrap things up today, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time. This has been an awesome night. But one thing I want to bring up, and this is a very serious topic. Were you worried at all about Kyle Yates taking on Eddie and Webby in a 2-versus-1 match at the Beer City Open? Because I know we were worried that we were going to destroy him so badly that he would lose his sponsorship with Paddletek, he would embarrass himself, and he would just like really embarrass and tarnish the name of Paddletek. Were you worried at all before that match happened?
Hell yeah. We were sweating bullets over there. We were worried that you guys would ruin his game somehow, that he'd get back out on the court and somehow pick up one of your tricks. So, yeah, we were fortunately, he was able to recover from the ordeal and come back and have a good tournament. So, yeah, we watched the whole thing. I mean, we were wringing hands, everything.
Yeah, I like how you couldn't even get through that with a straight face. You couldn't even say that without laughing. The fact, like, I feel like nobody was worried whatsoever about whether.
My wife is staring at me, laughing, and I'm like, I'm not that funny. She's making me laugh.
Oh man, that was such a fun experience, though. Even though we got our asses handed to us, like that was one of my life highlights, being part of that match. And that first match, like that was the first time we had ever played in front of a huge crowd like that. So first off, that was my first time ever meeting Kyle Yates. So I'm meeting Kyle Yates for the first time, who's one of my pickleball heroes. And then we've got like hundreds of people all grouped around us, watching us and reacting to every play that we make. So that first game, man, to say that the nerves were kicking in was a major understatement. But man, what an experience! What a nice guy, and that was super fun.
How was that?
And then,
sorry. How was
go ahead.
Was his when you first started? What was it like returning his serve?
It was tough, to be honest. I actually didn't do too bad at returning it. I think Eddie had a little bit of issues, isn't that right? Didn't you have some trouble, Eddie?
No.
Pretty sure there were quite a few into the net shots, but no, it was, man, yeah, that serve was crazy. But the craziest part was Kyle had a young boy come in. One of the Graver boys came in for him for a point, and it was Kyle was winning at that point 10-0. He had one of the Graver boys come in, and or I'm sorry, both of them came in, but one of them served to me. And that was the one that I botched. I returned all of Kyle's serves, but the one from this kid I botched into the net, and that ended the game. So that's something that keeps me up at night. I have nightmares about that one right there. But man, such a fun experience though. That was a great time.
The Graver boys are no joke. They are very fundamentally sound. I watched them at the U.S. Open. And I was just amazed at their knowledge of the game. They're going to be great. They are great, but they're going to be even greater. So yeah, there's no shame in losing a point to one of those two. There's no shame in that.
Oh yeah. I've learned there was not. I shouldn't beat myself up too badly for doing what I did. But yeah, that was an awesome experience. Another thing I want to ask you though is how great does it feel to consistently see Paddletek paddles on the gold medal stand or just on the medal stand in general for the biggest tournaments throughout the country?
You know what? That is, it's a feeling that I never felt that I would experience before. The first time I felt that pride was Nationals, was it 2013 or 2014? Might have been 13. And Daniel Moore comes out of nowhere. And he's all decked out in Paddletek because he was, sponsored by us, and he wins a national championship. And just the pride of watching such a wonderful man, kid, representing your brand with dignity and professionalism and sportsmanship. Scott Moore was sitting right next to me, who was his father. And I said, I can't imagine how you're feeling. He's not even my son, and I'm really proud. And that just kind of grew. And the thing that really makes us proud is there is only two, the change in the sport. It used to be if you're a sponsored player, you'd get get some free paddles, right? That's what you got. And so then it kind of changed, right? As the manufacturers are making more money, of course, they're going to share the love with some of their sponsored players. With the exception of two players, our pro team was with us when all they got was free paddles. I was reading online where somebody said, "Oh, they must that's because they're throwing money at them." Like, no, we're just keeping them. When they got into the sport and they got to that sponsorship level where they get a free paddle, they were with Paddletek. And when we do sign a pro, the first question is, what do you like to play with? If it's not Paddletek, we're usually not in discussion. We don't tend to, we just want people who are wearing our brand and representing our company to truly believe in what they're playing with. And so that makes that level of pride that we feel towards them even greater, because they chose the paddle first. They chose us first. And then we talked about their sponsorship. So yes, it's like they're all part of the family.
Nice. Yeah, that is so cool. Man, this has been such a great night. Curtis, we cannot thank you enough for being here. You have no idea how much this means to us for us to be able to feel like we had just a small part in this historic day in Paddletek history. This was awesome. Definitely one of my favorite nights of the podcast. And just thanks again. Thank you for being here. Is there anything you want to tell anybody that's listening? Anything like what's the best way to keep track of what Paddletek is doing and the next step in the changes that are going through?
Oh goodness. Next step will be come see us at Nationals, at our booth at Nationals, if you want to see what's new, other than what's new today. And I stay tuned. I mean, if there was any knock on Paddletek, I don't think anybody ever knocked our innovation within the sport, but our marketing was always maybe left in question. Well, we fixed that. So, thanks to it was a team effort. Myself, Noah Kaplan, Janet, Brian, Penny, who, by the way, every Paddletek paddle that says Paddletek, Penny had something to do with that. Without her, we wouldn't be anything. And Young and Larimore, this was a very long process, and just look for more. If I had to say it, is, we want the people who are Paddletek fans to be as proud of us as we are. And I think that we now have the way we're presenting ourselves to the world allows people to be proud of Paddletek. So that,
for sure,
I guess.
Yeah,
if you haven't noticed, I'm not the most articulate guy in the world.
Oh no, you're great. You're great. But this has been awesome. It's always. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I play Scrabble with Keanu Reeves. It takes like 3 days to get through one game.
Is that true? Did you really play Scrabble with Keanu Reeves?
No.
Oh, come on. I was hoping that was true.
I only say that. No, I only say that because he was actually making fun of that perception of him in the movie Between Two Ferns. So I figured it was okay to continue it. But I'm not the most articulate person, so thank you for putting up with me.
But actually, mentioning Keanu Reeves, make me want to ask one more question. Have you guys ever made any custom paddles for any celebrity players? Have any celebrities ever contacted you to make any paddles?
Yes. I'm just teasing. Yes. I was going to make you think. No, I was going to wait for you to think, oh gosh, it's the worst interview in the world. He just said yes. So let's see. Custom paddles. Let's see. I think our first celebrity paddle was Tom Berenger. That was, 5-6 years ago. We've made paddles for Kid Rock. We've made paddles for, I can't think of them all now. The tennis guy. My wife's been trying to make me laugh the whole time. What's his name? Pardon me? No, not him. I'm sorry. I'll think of it tomorrow. But yeah, we have, and it's I don't know. It's still pickleball. You get on the court, it doesn't really matter who you are. Just go out and have fun.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So cool. But yeah, thanks again, Curtis. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on. And I hope you have a great night. And if you ever have any other breaking news that you want to share with the world, definitely feel free to let us know, and we will we'll get a podcast going right that very moment.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
see ya.
Curtis. Another great one. I remember we had Curtis on before. Like, it was, we still were very brand new, and we had Curtis Smith, the CEO of Paddletek, come on and gave us the time of day, and just like it was amazing then, and I still feel just as amazed now that he came onto our show. I don't know, Webby, if you feel the same way or not, but
I'm pinching myself right now. Like when he first came on, nobody knew who Eddie and Webby were, and we had the CEO of Paddletek, like right. the biggest name in pickleball paddles, was on our show. Like, man, I don't think he'll ever know how grateful we are to him being on our show at that point in time, because seriously, nobody knew who we were at that time, but he saw potential in us and he loved what we were doing. And he even said that like, he thought we were kind of making the sport cool. And like, that was the biggest compliment at the time that I had ever gotten as far as what we were doing here. And then tonight, I mean, this is such a groundbreaking day for the history of Paddletek, and for us to be able to have him on today to discuss everything and to go into such detail. I mean, he told us everything. I love it. So damn cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. And, here's the thing is that everybody knows, and I would assume you would say the same thing. Huge Paddletek fanboy. The first paddle I ever got, the Bantam TS5, and it changed my game. It was the right paddle for me at the right time in my journey, and every single time my game has progressed, I have been able to find the next paddle within the Paddletek lineup for me. So I tried the Tangent Pro when I started to, get to that point to where I needed to learn to really slow that ball down. Boom, the Tangent Pro was there for me, and that was the right paddle, and it was perfect, and it was exactly what my game needed. Then once I started to be able to control the ball a lot better, and I wanted to give myself a little bit more power and a little bit more balance back, boom, up popped the Tempest Pro. And so it's like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about the paddles. There's something about the feel of Paddletek. And honestly, I think it all comes from that man, Curtis Smith, that was on our show today.
Oh, for sure. And if you haven't listened to the episode he was previously on, number 22, he just gave us so much knowledge of the technology of paddles. He was comparing the Onyx Z5 to some of the Paddletek paddles. And what I absolutely love about Curtis is he's not afraid to recommend paddles from other companies to people. Like if somebody tells him like, I don't like this Paddletek paddle because of this or that, he'll say like, hey, like, have you tried the Selkirk, whatever? Because that might be good for you. Like he's not afraid to tell people that other companies make great paddles too. I mean, obviously he would love if everybody played with a Paddletek paddle, but he wants to spread the joy of pickleball out there. He wants to get people playing pickleball in general. And it's just stuff like that. Just, I love that about him.
Absolutely. John Jermstad made one more comment here that I wanted to show. And he said, I was the delivery man for Kid Rock's paddle. That must have been
nice.
Cool there, John.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually reached out to Kid Rock via Facebook Messenger, but he never accepted my challenge to play him in pickleball. So Kid Rock, if you're listening, that challenge is still open. I will still play you. I haven't forgotten about that challenge. So if you want to play, just hit me up. All right. Just send me a DM or a PM.
We should do that. We should make one of these Eddie versus Webbies where we each pick a celebrity player and then that we partner with them.
Ooh, a pro-am event.
Well, then wait.
Or no, would it just be am?
It would
a
be
celeb-am.
Celeb-am. Celeb-am. Yeah.
Celeb-am. We'll do a celeb-am event.
I love it.
I'll play with Leo DiCaprio. You can play with Kid Rock. Let's make it happen. Leo, go ahead and call me, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah, Kid. I know you ignored Webby's Facebook, but go ahead and reach out to me. I know we're boys, so go ahead and reach out, Kid. Would appreciate it.
Yeah, and Leo, I know I ignored your past few text messages, but I'm sorry. Yes, I will play with you if we can make this celeb-am event happen.
Yeah, love it. Great show. So happy to be part of the Paddletek unveiling of the new era of Paddletek. And yeah, I know. I like I said, I got to hit with it for like a tiny little bit today with my lobster, and I'm loving it so far. It's nice. I know he says it's the same as the old one, but it felt very good in the hands. Very good.
Nice. I have not hit with it yet. Tomorrow morning will be my first time, and I'll be playing with humans, not a lobster, but humans. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, let me know how that goes. Anything else we want to talk about here, Webby, before we close out this amazing episode number 52?
Oh, man, that's all I've got. The only thing, I do have one question. Is Dinking Around happening after today's show?
It is. I was going to mention that. So, guys, stay tuned. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this down, but we're going to keep the stream up and go right back up into Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. And you, yes, you could have an opportunity to be able to come on live. And what's great about that is if you have a smartphone or a laptop and good quality, good internet, along with headset, microphone combo is preferred, we can bring you on. You can be part of the show.
Oh, yeah. And people think we're joking, but we're not kidding. Like, all you got to do is if you send us a direct message and express interest in joining with us, and you meet the criteria that Eddie just mentioned, you can be on the show live.
That's right. We're going to be talking about some great stuff during Dinking Around. We have some topics, as well as we have 7 posts on the Pickleball Forum that we're going to be going around over and giving our opinion of. So, guys, stay tuned for that. And this was episode 52, which means there are 52 of you guys still out there. And guess what? We appreciate you. We appreciate all 52 of you guys. Very, very much so. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.